Welcome back to Unwinding Roads, or welcome to Unwinding Roads. My name is Teddy, and yes, this is my favorite diesel heater I've had so far. I've actually done a video on just this unit, which is the Sunster TB10. It's one of my top videos. Thank you guys very much for watching it. I do actually love this unit. So when Sunster reached out about me testing their latest, I was all for it. We're gonna go over the differences between the two, why you might like one over the other, some very key differences. What we're not going to do is go over the exact specs on each of these. You could just look them up on the website. It's gonna give you all those details that you need to know. I've been running it in my rooftop tent. These are powerful diesel heaters. They will heat up a garage. They will heat up a van, easily. In my rooftop tent, I'm running them on their lowest setting pretty much all the time. It goes up to 10. The highest I've ran it is on a 3. Very quick, I'm gonna go over the Sunster diesel heaters and what makes them, to me, a better choice than a lot of the other diesel heaters on the market. The main thing is their build quality. While it's still built in a toolbox that a lot of other companies use, the internals are significantly different. The TB10, for example, the fuel pump is extremely quiet. There's absolutely no ticking on this one. There is some ticking on this one, but we're gonna address that later on. The ducting that it comes with, many diesel heaters don't even come with ducting. These diesel heaters come with very good ducting. The HTB1 comes with 2 5-foot hoses, plus the connector, plus the clamps. This is all part of the kit. It also comes with an exhaust pipe, which even that seems to be better quality. We're gonna get into that a little bit more as well. I do see many diesel heaters now coming with the exhaust wrap to save you from burning your fingers on the exhaust. This helps a little bit. It still does get hot, but it's gonna save you from cinching your skin. They both come with DC wires to just plug straight into a battery, which is how I run them now, as well as an AC adapter to run them off of your power station if you have one. They will not run off of a cigarette plug in the most part. It just requires too many amps, and for the most part, the power stations just can't do it. So I am going to run them off of this. You gotta remember, it's gonna be running the inverter as well, so the power is gonna be a little bit off, just to see the differences. But we'll be doing that later. Very quick, I'm just gonna go over the things that I like about this one, making it my favorite, and what I like about this one more. And then there's still some things that bring me back to this one. And this is gonna be fully up to you. I've been running both. Both are great units. I've been leaning more towards this one lately. You might not agree with me on this one. For me, it's mostly ergonomics. So let's talk about that. The TB10, which I've done a whole video on, I'm not gonna repeat myself. I do love the compact design. I do love that it's stackable. A key point on this one and this one in comparison to other diesel heaters is their exhaust. This one has the exhaust coming out the side here. You can just put it down and the exhaust is coming out. A lot of diesel heaters don't have that. You'll have to put some wood underneath and stack it because the exhaust comes straight out the bottom, and then you'll have to put in your elbow. It ends up being a pain. The fuel tank is inside this one. Now, if you overspill, you might get some diesel fumes going into the heater box. Something to keep in mind. Weight is about the same. This one comes with a completely silent pump. This one does not. However, this one's very quiet, and I'll be showing you exactly how quiet it is. And on top of that, for $30 Canadian, Sunster also sells their quiet pumps, which we will be installing in this one, and that might be the difference between this one and this one, making this one my new favorite. We're gonna talk ergonomics on the HTB1 in comparison. On this one, the fuel tank is mounted on the outside. You have some screws here, mounting it to this box. Now, when I first looked at it, I thought to myself, you could easily disconnect this, use those same mounts to mount the whole box to a rack, and then run the diesel off of some sort of roto packs or something like that. It'll be very easy to adjust. I haven't done that yet. I'm still thinking about this process. I think I'm gonna be doing something completely different with the bed of my truck shortly here. Both have very good caps. The venting does work. These don't feel like cheap plastic. They're more of like a well, I guess it's plastic, but it's not cheap plastic. You can feel it. I have had a little bit of seepage coming out from here, which is an important factor. It seems to happen on almost all of them, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the pressure. The pressure change in elevation, you're gonna get a little bit of seepage. Again, this is on the outside of the unit, so I get no fumes when using this diesel heater. Another key point, this one has very nice mounts for your ducting. In comparison to the TB10, it's a little bit tricky to clamp the ducting onto this unit. I just have an adapter to go from a 3-inch hose to a 4-inch hose. So once the adapter is on there, it's really not that big of a deal. I just slide them on and it hasn't fallen out. But this one does have a very nice little lip that you can attach the ducting to. The exhaust pipe, it's actually got threads on it. And the exhaust comes right out the front. Sorry, out the back. This is the intake, so I don't know if that's the front or the back. I would assume that's the back. It's got these nice threads and it's just so easy to put this exhaust pipe on. Even the muffler itself just seems like a better quality muffler. I don't know if it's saving them any money or not, getting a muffler like this, but I actually use this muffler as opposed to the ones on here with the clamps. It's just a pain in the butt. I don't do it. Both come with controllers. This one comes with an extension, so you can pop this off, put an extension if you do have an RV or something like that, and this is on the outside. You can just have it running off of your controller on the inside. There is a thermostat built into this controller as well, so the diesel heater will turn off and on as you need it for whatever temperature you set. Again, this may be a deciding factor for you, but this unit cannot pair with the CO controller that this one can pair with. So right now you can actually buy this unit and in a kit that comes with this. And what this is your CO monitor, which you need with diesel heaters. I found out that the motor itself can crack and then you'll be getting exhaust fumes into your tent. It doesn't happen right away. It takes a long time for something like that to happen, if it happens at all, but better be safe than sorry, especially with something like that. So this is a CO detector. It's also a thermostat and it hooks up Bluetooth to the unit. So you can set the temperature in your tent using this and the heater will turn on and off depending on the temperature you want. This one, you can still use the remote that it comes with or the app that you can download. And then I just have a CO detector in my tent anyway, so that's that. All right, so now let's take a closer look at this unit. Again, I have a full video on this unit if you wanna check that out. We're gonna talk about this one from here on out. And I'm gonna get into a little bit more detail about why this one is possibly becoming my go-to. Starting with the fuel tank. This has a little bit bigger of a fuel tank, making it seem like it's more fuel efficient. On paper, it is about the same. However, your tank is going to last you longer just because it is a little bit bigger. It has ducting on the front and the back, on the intake and the outtake, the outlet. And that's also why it comes with 2 hoses. You can actually have one going in, one coming out, and you can circulate that air, making it even more efficient. The components, very good in comparison to other diesel heaters that I've reviewed. You can take a look at that fuel line, the components inside, they got the tape on the wires. Nothing feels cheap about it. It even has a metal plate for the heater box itself to sit on. Everything is tight and it just overall looks great. The fuel pump that they sent me feels very good. This is actually a very heavy unit. I'm not sure the weight of it, but it's heavy. This feels solid. I'm excited to put it in there and see the difference. So let's get it running. I'll show you what I mean by that slight tick. For you, it may not matter. For me, it was one of those things I never noticed the ticking on any of these heaters until it was mentioned to me. And now that's all I hear and it drives me nuts. So let's fire it up and see what it does. And so to set it up, all you're doing is screwing this exhaust pipe on. Very simple. And then you would attach your ducting. Now I will say a weird thing about the new controller is it has an accent. Check this out.
Welcome to use parking heater.
So here you're gonna have to ignore my screen. I smashed it. But I wanted to use this to show you the output watts. 2 things we're looking for here is how high that output goes and the sound of the pump when it gets going. And so I'm sure you could hear that pump going now. But we haven't hit 200 watts yet, which is pretty good. Another key factor is it's self-adjusting for elevation up to some ridiculous, it's like 15,000 feet or something like that. It's so you don't have to worry about going into the settings and adjusting for elevation. It'll do it on its own. We're just gonna let it get warm. It takes about a couple of minutes. While it's doing that, I wanted to mention the exhaust pipes. I see a lot of people running them with the exhaust pointing up. And what that does is the soot that gets in it, the soot that's supposed to be coming out of there ends up backing up and backing into the motor. You don't want to be doing that. It's just like any other diesel engine. You want it to breathe and you want to push all that out. So point the exhaust down or keep it completely horizontal. I also learned that by pressing plus, it's going to make it run faster, and it actually gets mad at you. Listen to this.
Upsetting.
Okay, so now we got her going, and this is on setting number 3, and you can hear that pumping, that ticking noise. It is barely noticeable, but it's there. Let's crank it up and see what happens. It does have a very strong fan, and that's about as close as I can get my hand. As you can see, my power station is completely broken. So these numbers are exactly 100 watts off. While I was shooting, I noticed it was using a lot of power, which didn't make sense. And to prove it, you can see the amount of hours that are left on the 460 watt hour station. Because the screen is broken, it's actually showing a 1 for the 100, even though that's not the case. It's only using about 20 watts for on low and almost 100 watts on high. Running it on low, you're looking at about 120 watts output. And on max, you're looking at 190 watts. Another important factor is when shutting them down, let it go through its process. You're going to press the off button. It takes a couple minutes for it to do its thing. Let it do that. Again, you don't want that soot sitting in the motor there. Now that you've heard it running and the ticking, I'm going to show you the TB10 for comparison. Again, $30 Canadian part, and you can make it sound like that. We're going to go over how to install that pump as well. We're going to go back home and get that done. I looked at it. It doesn't look too complicated, but I do need some tools to get it done. So I'm actually going to take the mic and hold it right up to it. You'll see that there is absolutely no ticking sound. I just realized all the trash is showing up on camera and it sucks. I'm off of a main FSR and I guess people use it as a dump. Anyways, time to go back home. We're gonna shut these down, install that silent pump, see if it makes a difference. I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on the HTB1. While I'm on the way home, let's take a quick break to thank this video sponsor, Onyx Off-Road. If you do not yet have Onyx Off-Road, scan the barcode and at least give it a free trial. I use it for every trip. When I'm home, I'll use it to quickly see the weather in certain areas before heading out. After that, I check the area for some water and see if there's a route already laid out for me. From there, I can check out some side quests and mark anything I find interesting while on the adventure. You'll save 20% by using the barcode. All right, time to get this pump installed. I'm gonna start by emptying the tank. And then just cross your fingers that I don't spill. Are you crossing your fingers? That'll do it. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, next up, pop this bad boy open and locate the pump, which is right back here. It's held down by one bolt. Got this 10mm bolt. There is a little bit of diesel that comes out of here. Again, a little bit of fuel dripping. There you are. So this is what we'll be replacing. All right, fill her up and let's see where we're at. Okay, so I have it on maximum now. It is hot. And check it out. Absolutely no ticking. However, when I had it in the low setting, I did still hear some ticking. Here we go, back down to 1. Originally, I did not hear any ticking at all whatsoever, but it did tick. So I don't know if it's like intermittent or what's going on. Now it's on the lowest setting. As you can see, there's no ticking. But the ticking is starting to come back. It's very quiet. I would say in comparison, it's a little quieter on the low setting. Okay, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on the Sunster HTB1. I don't know if ergonomics is the word, but that's the word I'm gonna use of this diesel heater. For me personally, makes it my go-to. Like I said, the diesel tank on the outside of it is really nice. It is quiet. The fuel pump is a little bit of an issue for me right now. Even though I switched it, I am still getting a little bit of ticking. Not the end of the world. Something you're gonna have to think about is which style works best for you and your setup. For me personally, as soon as I saw this one, I thought disconnect the diesel tank, get some sort of roto packs, and mount the actual unit to the rack and have more of a permanent install. That way you don't have to lug anything around. Simply attach your power, your exhaust, and your ducting, and you're done. No more totes and hauling this thing around in and out. Is it my new favorite? For me personally, yes it is. However, I can see an argument for both sides. The ticking being the major one, which it seems to be intermittent now. So I don't know if it's gonna drive me nuts or not. We're gonna find out though. That's gonna do it for this one. If you do wanna get your own Sunster diesel heater, the link is in the description. I will say when it comes to the cheaper diesel heaters, I do prefer the quality of the Sunster brand. Until next time, my name's Teddy. Go away, get lost, and unwind.